So what is a home inspector? What do they do? And how do you find a good home inspector?
First things first, what's important to know about home inspections is it's for health and safety reasons. So we're figuring out, what things could break down, what are the big mechanicals, what could be a safety concern. Not that they dribbled a little bit of paint onto the trim that you'd really not like to be there, or that you don't like their outdated almond outlets and you'd rather them be upgraded to white.
First of all, we could definitely recommend a home inspector. So if you do not have one, you're welcome to use your own. However, we do have licensed home inspectors.
Yes, not just Uncle Tim or Aunt Sally that's going to go through and do that inspection. Which leads us to the next point. We want to make sure you have someone that comes through and writes a thorough report, taking a lot of pictures. I'm not joking when we've seen home inspectors come with what looks like their old jewel receipt, and they just use the back and jot a few notes and call it a day. That's not going to work when you're trying to write a detailed report on what you'd like changed or when you're trying to earn credits.
So we have an inspector that will take over 100 pictures, have an explanation, again, next to each and every picture on what the issue may or may not be, things they like about the house, things that maybe need a little bit of work, which brings us to another thing is the inspector that we use, or the inspectors that we use, they're not alarmists. There's no such thing as a perfect house, so there's always going to be something that needs to maybe be updated or maybe fixed a little bit.
I completely agree, because if you looked at my house or your house or anyone viewing this as home, apartment, wherever you are living right now, you could find some things that aren't that pretty about it right now, or things that could probably use some work and tune up, but you're living day to day just fine. So that's something to note, that there may be things going on in the home, but things do not need to be perfect, and they don't need to alarm you to believe that this home is not the one when it may be a couple minor changes.
And if you do come across something that does need to be fixed or changed or updated, whatever it might be, we do have contractors that could help us that we would highly recommend. So even if you do have this home inspection and let's say, I don't know, a faucet needs to be replaced in the kitchen, we have people that would be able to help you with putting a new faucet in there.
Tells me what I should be looking to do within this next month, next 6 months, next few years. So for example, in all transparency, when we inspected, we knew that our air conditioning machine was getting a little bit old. So we knew it was in the plan over time. And luckily, I'm married to someone that can fix that, so it's not going to be an issue. But that's an example of something that could be alarming to some folks, but for us, wasn't necessarily, because we knew it could fit in our timeline.
Yeah, lucky you. So, and another thing, and probably the last, and may even be the most important, with our home inspector, he will give you his card with his cell phone number. So if you have any questions, you are able to call him. He's not a fly-by-night kind of inspector, so you can call him if you have more questions.
Just as a side note, sometimes based on weather or other things going on, you may not be able to inspect some parts of the home. A couple weeks back when we had tons of snow on the roof, we couldn't ask the inspector to get on the roof and check things out. So there may be times that we'll have to note that in the report, and we're flexible and we work with them at those times.
So Christy and I will always, 100% of the time, recommend that you have a home inspection done on every single home that our clients purchase.
Thanks so much for listening today. Make sure you follow us.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you next week.